day, Bear Nation, and welcome to another edition of the Damon Floyd Coaches Show right here on the Bear Network, Talk Radio 101.3 The Buzz, brought to you by L B Appliance out on Durkee Road, where they're big enough to serve you and small enough to appreciate you. We appreciate the folks out at L B Appliance for sponsoring our ball games and our coaches show. And folks, when you go in there to all of our fine sponsors that make it possible for Bears to be on the radio, tell them you appreciate them, that you appreciate them sponsoring the Bear Network, and tell them how much you appreciate them making it all possible. I'm here with I'm Bryan Grisham, as a matter of fact, and I almost forgot to introduce myself. I am filling in big shoes this week as Gary Owenby is on the road with his lovely wife Norma. I'm sure he's sitting somewhere with his feet propped up, Damon, eating lobster and cocktails. So we'll just carry on, try to do the best we can. Welcome, Coach Damon Floyd. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to work with us this morning, buddy. As I was talking with Taylor earlier in the game, we won our first 5 games of the season. Had a setback at Bearden, took care of Ooltewah, and then had a setback last week. Took one on the chin, as a matter of fact. No other way to say it. Against a really good Farragut team. That Farragut team might be the best team we've played so far.
Yeah, I'd say it's obviously between them and Bearden. You know, they play the last game of the season, so then that's a big rival game between them two. But you know, and that's kind of the way it is in this region. There's going to be different years where, you know, last year we were fortunate enough to beat both of them in the regular season. Of course, Farragut's got us in the playoffs. But you're talking about 2 really good teams, and most of the time those games kind of come down to the wire. And you know, Farragut game, I thought we had some chances, but we did not execute. And you know, that's what I said after the game. And it's not just one player, it's not one coach, it's all of us together, and it's going to take all of us to fix it. You know, Farragut offensively, they're very multiple, and you know, they've been running that system for quite a while, but they make you think as a defense, and they did a lot of shifting and motion, which we prepared for. And there was some times that we just didn't line up correctly. Right. And when you don't line up correctly, they know how to attack it. And you know, usually, like I said, it's not one particular player, but there was different players at different times. We didn't line up correctly, and they took advantage. So I think if you went back and watched film, which obviously we did, there's a lot of plays, offensive and defensively, we felt like we played really well, but it took its toll on us. When they did have a chance to make a big play, they did. Right. When we had a chance to make big plays, we didn't. You know, obviously, if you watch the game, and I don't want to, you know, single out anyone, but we had way too many drops. We took way too many sacks on offense, and I thought our offensive line played great. If you go back, there's holes that we should have ran through and had some big plays, and we didn't, and they did, and that's the difference. And then special teams was huge too. Right. They got a really good kicking game. You know, when you kick in the end zone every time, we're starting on the 20 and driving 80. They had a good return game, which they're driving, you know, 50 yards. Absolutely. And it played a huge part. We called a fake punt, you know, and it didn't work out, and that's on me. We should have executed it better, but we gave them short field, but our defense held them to 3 on that one. So there was some good things, obviously not the way we wanted it to turn out, but you got to learn from it and move on at this point.
Absolutely. Final score was 31-10. I tell you, just go over a few of the stats, and I'm going to do like Tony Kornheiser on PTI. I'm going to go to the glasses so I don't get this, so I can get this right. The first downs, 13 apiece. That was all right. Time of possession was almost even in the game. And then the rushing yards. Yeah. If you're like me, you saw Elijah Gibbs, the great running back for Farragut in your nightmares.
Well, that's the thing is, you know, going in, our game plan was to make them run the ball. Yeah. So we were actually giving them a lot box and doing some stunting up front to where we make them spill it. There's a couple times we didn't spill it, and it was an execution thing. It wasn't a physically getting whipped. It was you know, a numbers game in the box, and when they had a chance to make a play, we were trying to give them some different looks, and you know, like I mentioned before, when you had a chance to make a big play, they made it, and we had a chance to make big plays, we didn't. Right. And so we did give up a lot of rushing yards. Some of that, obviously, you don't want to give up yards, but we were not going to let them. We were trying not to let them beat us throwing, because they're very efficient, and they can throw and catch as good as any team I've ever coached against. So that was kind of one of our game plans. We knew we'd give up some yards. We just didn't want them to bust them for touchdowns and try to shrink the field and make it tougher if they did get in the red zone and try to hold them field goals. We didn't do it.
just the word that came to my mind was just a solid team all the way around for Farragut.
No weaknesses.
Oh no,
no weaknesses.
No, and you know, you don't realize the kicking game unless it hurts you.
Yeah.
You know, and a kicking game can turn the field around, and it makes all the difference in the world sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about obviously the kicker can kick in the end zone,
right.
But not only that, if they didn't, we never got a good return because it's the other 10 guys that are in their correct lanes. They're a very disciplined football team, and that's the way Farragut's been for years. So if you're going to beat them, man, you got to play good and hope they play a little bit bad because of you, but it just didn't happen.
Right.
And I take blame. You know, that's my job. That's why they call us coach, and I didn't have my team ready to play. But it's in the past. We got to move on now.
Absolutely. Elijah Gibbs ended up with 22 carries, 220 yards, 3 touchdowns. On the positive side, Jay Allen, he pounded out 109 yards, and Simon Mullis came in with some great yardage, spelling him a little bit. That's a couple of bright spots behind that offensive line.
Yeah, I thought there were some holes too that not only those two, but Demarius missed in our run game. When we bounced it a little bit, we stick it up in there, that we got a chance to score actually. And we didn't do it, but those kids run hard. And I'll say this, and you go back and turn on film, our kids play extremely hard. So I don't have any issue with that. It just didn't work out the way we wanted it to. And like I said, I didn't have them prepared, so that's on me.
All right, injury update right quick. Do we have any new injuries? I hate to even ask.
Yeah, it's just, you know, and we really do, and I think most teams do. You have the next man mentality up, but it starts to take its toll.
It does.
And I'm trying to think right now who's that. Gage Anderson got hurt, in the first half.
He had just got back, hadn't he?
Yeah, it's just been a rough season for him. He was hurt all off season, had a surgery on his knee, a minor surgery, but then right when he came back, the season started, then he turned his ankle against Cleveland. Right. And then he misses some games there. As soon as he gets back, now he's hurt again, and honestly, I don't know if we'll get him back. Really? Yeah, it's just, it's a bad hamstring injury, which takes time, and so, yeah, it's another one on the list of the IR, and it's time for somebody else to step up, and we'll still use that next man mentality but it does take its toll. I mean, it's reality.
It does, and as a teammate, when I see one of my teammates get hurt, it affects me.
It does, and it's a physical game, and we play in a physical league.
Oh my, yes. Every week.
And that's the thing, is 6A schools, most of us have depth, and we do have some depth.
Sure.
But
never have too much.
You never have too much, not enough. But some of our best players are out for the year. But it's time to rally, and it's like I tell them, it's a legal fist fight. So let's strap up and be ready to go again.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a break right here on the Damon Floyd Coaches Show. We'll be right back. Brought to you by L B Appliance. This is Bryan Grisham on Talk Radio 102.3 The Buzz. All right, we are back. L B Appliance, we thank them so much for sponsoring our Damon Floyd Coaches Show. Coach, let's turn the page. Let's talk about Ray County. We're going across the Tennessee River this Friday night, and game time is 7:30, correct?
Yeah.
7:30 for Bear fans. You've got an extra 30 minutes to go through the drive-through and get across the river to the ball game. A beautiful setting. I love to go to Ray County. The mountains in the background, and they've got a tremendous field over there, and their fans are just as passionate as anybody else's. Tough place to go play, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, you say you love to go to Ray County. I love to go to Ray County and watch the game, but to go playing against them is a different story, because you know what you're going to get.
Absolutely.
It's tough, hard-nosed football. There is no secret. It's can you withstand the physicality for 4 quarters? And Mark Pemberton's done a great job since he's been there. You know, record-wise, they're not where they want to be. I think, obviously, they've had some injuries along the way. And to be honest, the last 2 games, they've changed offenses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you know anything about Ray County with Mark Pemberton there, it's
well, that shocks me, yeah.
Yeah, I think they had to out of necessity.
Well, probably did, yes.
But so we're having, I don't know what's coming back and what's still out for them. So we're preparing for 2 different offenses, which is tough. It's hard to prepare for just the wing T.
Oh gosh, yes.
And you know, that's the only time we see it this year. So we're going to prepare for it, and then prepare obviously for the I offense. And they've actually went to 3 wide receivers some. So it's, once again, it's another multiple offense that we're having to prepare for, but physical, hard-nosed team. Defensively, they do some stuff that we don't see a whole lot of, so we've got to recognize fronts and coverages pre-snap and make sure we're going to the right guys. But I expect it to be a tough game. You know, last year they got on top of us and really early and just gashed us, and then we end up coming back making a game of it, and they end up beating us. So really good football team, and you know we better be ready to play, or it's going to be out. It could get out of hand again.
Absolutely. The Bears are 26-15-1 all time against the Golden Eagles. I was just looking back at some of the games. The Bears lost 7 in a row back in the 80s and 90s, and then won 8 in a row before last year. So now there's a little more incentive to go over there and right that ship. 48-42, there was a shootout last year, and you know you look at the Bears 6-2, 2-2. That's great.
Yeah,
great record. You look at the Golden Eagles 2-6, 2-2. Don't be fooled by that. You know, we touched on that just a second ago. If we don't go over and play Bear football, we're gonna get beat.
Well, you look at they got beat by Alcoa.
Yeah. Yes.
They got beat by Elizabethton.
Yes.
Who's played in the last 3 state championships.
Right.
They got beat by Anderson County, who's the number 1 4A team, who's 8-0.
There you go.
So you are what your record says you are, and I said that last week on the coach's show. But they've had some tough losses, and it's not like they're getting blown out.
Right, very close games.
Lost to Elizabethton by 7, lost to Anderson County by 3, lost to Alcoa 38-21, which that's a different margin, but it's Alcoa.
Folks get to them, yeah.
There's no doubt. So we know we have our hands full, but I'm excited to see how our kids respond, and that we've had good practices. I've said all year long, our kids come to work and they want to be successful. So that's all we can ask for as a coaching staff. And wins and losses, they are what they are. And if we play well, we'll win. If not, we won't. So it's fun to go to work with these guys every day.
A lot of history, a lot of great games against Rhea County over the years. The one thing I remember when I was in high school, when I was a fan, you know, I used to be one of those sitting up there with my face painted black and gold. You know, so it's when you were carrying the ball, you know. But you know, that's a while back. But the one thing I remember about Rhea County, they're always huge. They were huge, and they ran the ball, and then they ran the ball again, and then they would run the ball a little more. You know, so you know, you said you think you know what you're getting into, but now you've got something else to look forward to, and then I'm looking for a really good game.
I think so. You know, you talk about the run game, and you know, obviously we watched film and we've prepared, and it's not you don't know which run's coming because obviously there's different blocking schemes and where they want to take the ball. But it's a matter of each kid has to be very disciplined and read your keys, because if you don't read your keys, you're not going to know where the ball is at.
Absolutely.
And then once you get the Ethan Davis kid is a tough, hard-nosed runner. So once you get there, it's not easy to bring him down. He's got really good speed, and he's a tough, hard-nosed kid that breaks tackles, and that's the mentality of Rhea County. They're going to play with that extra effort. So, like I've said it. It's going to be a physical ball game. So
just like us, nobody's feeling sorry for us because we've got people hurt. And same thing with Rhea County. You play with the ones that are ready to go and cinch it up and go, as they say. Very quickly, give me a couple of keys to a Bears victory Friday night.
Yeah, it's coaching cliches, like I say every week, but
it's true.
It is. Offensively, we cannot get behind the chains, so we've got to make some yardage on first down and put us in second and manageable, third and manageable.
Yep.
Field position will be huge again. They got a good kicker, and then you know, defensively, they're going to get some first downs.
Yep.
We can't get frustrated with that. We've got to try to make them kick field goals if they drive on us, and then you know, we got to make tackles, and eventually we're going to have to get some stops.
Eventually, yes.
The ball. Yep.
That's it, exactly. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come talk with us this morning. This has been the Damon Floyd Coaches Show right here on Talk 103.1 The Buzz, brought to you in part by Crawford's Pharmacy, Dale's Heating and Air, and L B Appliance. We really appreciate all of our fine sponsors. Until next time, thank you so very much for tuning in. The game time is 7:30 at Ray County on Friday night. That'll give you a few extra minutes to get over there and get ready for the football game. It should be beautiful weather. And so for my good buddy Gary Ormby that's out and about, and for Coach Floyd, this is Bryan Grisham saying, God bless and go Bears.